Darkest greetings, horror sci-fi and Pixar fans. Drew here from Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond, and I'm here, or we're here, to review a bit of a different movie. Still kind of a little sci-fi, a little bit, but we're here to review Toy Story for its 30th anniversary, which is a huge childhood classic of mine, and I'm sure it's a huge childhood classic for a lot of people out there. Um, and the reason why I said it's kind of sci-fi, because you got Buzz Lightyear in there,
Well, it's
and
fantasy. I
Hey,
mean,
yeah,
yeah,
100%
magic
yeah,
fantasy.
toys that come to life.
yeah,
Yeah.
it is
This is
fantasy,
100% in the beyond section of
Right.
this podcast.
yeah. But no, yeah, I'm really excited to review this because I love Toy Story. I used to watch it all the time. And here to review Toy Story with me is the man, the myth, the legend, Mr. Eric White.
Hey, everybody.
How's it
Happy to
going,
be
man?
here. Doing good. Excited to talk about some toys. Mm, yeah. I imagine we're going to end up talking a lot about Toy Story and then the other Toy Story movies as
Hmm.
well
Yeah,
in this conversation. But
absolutely. Um, and then for my next co-host, we got the singing wizard himself, Mr. Jackson Herbert. How's it going, man?
Howdy, y'all.
What's up? You ready to talk about some
Not a
Toy
whole
Story?
lot. What'd you say?
You ready to talk about some Toy Story?
Yeah, sorry, I had to send a text.
I know
My
you're
friend
good,
was
man.
trying to call me.
Um, so before we get into the Toy Story review, just a little bit of housekeeping. Next episode is gonna be episode 2 of me and Reed Lackey's Hour on Hitchcock, and we're gonna review Rope, which
mm,
I'm really excited about. And I had a couple of days off last week as we're recording this from work, and I actually doubled up on my reviews. Like I watched Toy Story on the first day I had off, and then I reviewed Rope on the next day. So to get it way ahead of the curve, really liked Rope. Really fun movie.
It's a
But
cool
was
movie.
that your first go round with Rope?
yeah, I've never seen Rope. A lot
Oh,
of Hitchcock
nice.
movies I've never seen, which is part of the reason
Mm,
why I wanted to do the series.
hmm
Mm.
Um, but anyways, guys, let's get down to it, man. Let's talk about some Toy Story.
Cool.
And the plot summary for Toy Story, according to the Internet Movie Database. A cowboy doll is profoundly threatened and jealous when a new spaceman action figure supplants him as the top toy in a boy's bedroom.
Sergeant?
Yes, sir.
Establish a recon post downstairs.
Code Red, repeat. We are at Code Red. Recon Plan Charlie, execute. Move, 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 move. It's a big one.
Walt Disney Pictures presents
Star Command, come in. Do you read me?
the story of two toys
There seems to be no sign of intelligent life anywhere.
headed for a showdown.
My name is Woody. This is my spot.
I am Buzz Lightyear. I come in peace.
You are a child's plaything.
You are a sad, strange little man.
And playing by their own rules.
Draw. Got me again.
I don't like confrontations.
Buzz looking alien. Where?
You're mocking me, aren't you?
All right, so let's go around the room and talk about how we discovered Toy Story and our quick thoughts. And I'll start with you, Singing Wizard. What is your how did you find out about Toy Story? And what are your thoughts?
Well, I would have been 12 when this came out. And so I was still at the age where I was going to see a lot of like kids' movies. And the thing is I know a lot of people have that thing where they sort of grow out of kids' movies for a while and then they come back to them as an adult. I didn't really have that. I've always enjoyed like animated films, children's films, family films, all of that stuff. Um, it's really funny to think about when this came out because, people knew about CGI. You'd had like Jurassic Park and some other movies, and then they had started to use computer effects in like hand-drawn Disney movies, like for backgrounds and stuff like that. And it's weird to think about a time where we all were like, they're doing a whole movie of just computer stuff? What? What is happening? And it was,
Right.
but you know, obviously the movie came out and completely changed the game forever.
Oh,
Hmm.
absolutely. Yeah.
And I think this movie holds up beautifully, even
Mhm.
though the animation is primitive by, modern Pixar standards or even
Mm.
other animation
Mhm.
companies. But this movie really sings, like even now, like 30
Yeah.
years later, it's still great.
Yeah. Yeah. Speaking of that, I don't know if you saw the new little teaser for the new Shrek movie coming out, not this Christmas, but the next. People were
I didn't
complaining
even know
about
that was
that.
a thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
like people
neither.
were complaining about like the redesigns, and I'm like, well, you gotta remember that like the original movie is like almost 20 years old at this point.
Oh,
Like
it's
it's
over
old.
20 years old.
Yeah, it's
Hmm.
like it's like
Yeah.
old technology.
Yeah.
Still a great movie like this one, like still like impactful as far as it's making fun of fairy tales or whatever. But like you gotta move on. You know what I mean? Like, and
Yeah.
these characters are older too. Like these are characters that aren't plastic. Like these are like like they're gonna age. You know what I mean?
Right.
Yeah, people had a problem with that, but yeah, yeah, cool that you continue to like his movies through your teenage years.
Yeah, I
Hmm.
just I just
Yeah, me
always
too, man.
enjoyed them.
Yeah, yeah, I've always liked animated movies.
Hmm.
What about you, Eric? Well,
Yeah, I mean, I feel like this may be like the first thing we've ever all three agreed on. Is like I've always loved kids' movies. Like you
hmm.
were just talking about Shrek. I loved Shrek when it came out. Um,
Man, this is
I
great,
still like
man.
it. I
We're
still think
gonna
it's
stay up
one.
all night and swap man starts, and in the morning I'm making waffles.
I watch Shrek the Halls like every Christmas.
Oh, really?
It's like a Christmas classic in my house.
Okay.
No, Toy Story. I didn't see this in theaters when it came out. I don't know for whatever reason it didn't. But I was perfect age for it. I was like 10.
Mm.
And I remember when it came out and everyone was like, "Oh, it's all computer animated. How are they going to do that? This will never catch on." I remember seeing like it was something on like it was like one of those TV shows on like Internet Entertainment Tonight or something like that, where they're just like, "This will never catch on. Like it's too expensive to do this sort of thing. The drive the hand drawn people out of it, and like that didn't happen."
Yep.
But no, Toy Story, like man, other than like some textury stuff, and really like it's just Scud. Scud to me is the only thing that kind of looks really kind of like blank. But like
I think the
some textury, some
environment.
atmosphere stuff, but like yeah, like
Yeah,
most of
yeah.
the
I think like the environments kind of look real flat compared to like the newer
Everything's
Toy
very
Story.
of
like
course,
clean and shiny
yeah.
Mm,
Hmm.
movie. Like
Which works for toys for the
mm.
the
most part.
floors have a little bit too much like reflection
Hmm.
in them, stuff
Yeah.
like that.
Oh,
But
hey,
Yeah.
did you guys notice what Sid's carpet looked like?
Was it The Shining?
Yeah. Yeah, it's a signing carpet.
Yeah. Yeah. No,
I
there's a
don't
lot of
even think I
like
clocked
fun. There's a
that.
lot of fun little Easter eggs in this
Yeah,
movie.
apparently Lee Unrich, who worked on Toy Story, I can't remember what he did,
He
but
was
he
the
had been
editor.
he editor, but he also directed Toy Story 3. Is a
I mean, he's one of
huge
the main Pixar
Oh
guys.
yeah, but he's a
Yeah.
huge signing fan. He loves the signing.
Oh
Okay.
yeah, no, he's a huge Stephen King fan. That's why the monkey was in the third one. Is like
Okay.
the
Oh, the
alarm
monkey.
guy.
I forgot about the
Oh, and
monkey.
it's
Yeah.
funny because the monkey came out this year.
No, it's 100%.
Right.
It's based off that Stephen King short story. That's why I put it in there.
Yeah, that's fucking hilarious. I didn't think
Yeah.
about that. Yeah, and then there's a signing reference to Finding Nemo with the shark, and he goes, "Here's Brucey."
Yeah.
Yeah, which is pretty awesome. My quick thoughts on Toy Story or how I found out about it was, honestly, I know my stories are boring, but it was kind of like just with anything else. It was always a part of my life. Like I was like
Mm,
one when
hmm.
it came out, or wait, my birthday's May 5th. So I was young. I was really young when the movie came out.
Yeah, this movie came out in like November,
It's
Okay,
like
so I was 1 year old.
after Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Thanksgiving. Yeah.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I was 1 year old, and I obviously don't remember. But it was just a movie I always loved, and I had the Woody and Buzz
Mm,
toys. I used to fling,
jealous. I
dude.
wanted those.
I used to fling Woody by his pull string as a
Mm,
kid. And I broke them, but one day I want another Buzz and Woody toy.
mm,
And I remember my dad took me to Disney World when I was really young, and I was all excited to meet Buzz Lightyear. And when we finally met him, I started crying.
Oh no.
Yeah, because it's so much big.
You meet your heroes.
Yeah, well, I mean, you don't realize as a kid that these characters are so much bigger. Like when there's a guy in the big costume or whatever. They're so much bigger in real life. But yeah, no, I fucking love this movie. Yeah, the technology is primitive, but the storytelling is still there. Like you
Oh
feel
yeah.
emotion.
And just like the jokes, all the gags still work for the most part.
Yeah, well, Josh Whedon was one of the writers here.
Yeah. I mean, there was like 4
Yeah.
writers on this movie, so
They had
I mean,
a
I
bunch of
assume
writers.
there's a lot
Plus,
of.
like the way Pixar works is it's very much a collective. So they're always having like story meetings and stuff like that, and then it gets passed off to the animators. The animators put in their own jokes.
Mm.
Just like little visual gags and stuff like that.
Oh, well,
Everybody's just kind of working together over at
yeah, well, that's
Pixar.
easy to do that as an animator because you're not filming it on.
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
You
on
can
set,
just put
yeah.
something in, whatever you want. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, if you want to put in a naked lady changing in the rescuers, you can just put it in there. If you want
Yeah,
to,
it's probably a little harder to catch those. It's probably a little easier to catch those things now than it
if you
was.
want to put a priest having a boner in the Little Mermaid, just put it in there.
Oh my gosh. Yeah.
It's a lot of yeah.
But
But
anyway,
there are like a bunch of little Easter eggs in this movie too. Like the toolbox he's pushing over is
The Benford toolbox.
Yeah.
yeah, and then the
Doesn't have to be dirty to be an Easter egg.
Yeah.
It can be nice and
Right.
playful.
yeah, but yeah, I was just making fun of that whole thing.
Right.
But I like how and I don't know if this was intentional or not, but I like how the gas station is called Dinoco. I'm wondering if that's a reference to Jurassic Park at all, because that was such a big leap as far as computer effects go.
I don't
Well,
know.
maybe. I don't know. Actually, yeah, I don't know what that's a reference to. Maybe they just thought Dinoco was fun and make it a dinosaur. I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah, well, then you got a dinosaur character. But then in Cars, the rival car, Chick Hits, voiced by Michael Keaton, that's like his sponsor, is Dinoco.
Okay.
No, yeah. There's a lot of crossover
Yeah,
stuff. Like
so I didn't
they
catch-
reference.
Yeah, well, I didn't
The-
even catch that
The
when I
main thing
watched.
is that, oil comes from like crushed dinosaur bones and stuff like that. So,
Right.
yeah.
Yeah, but I didn't notice that when I first watched Cars, and then I watched Toy Story again. I'm like, oh, that's Chick Hits' car.
Yeah.
Or
No,
brand.
the bigger Pixar universe does a lot of self-referencing throughout.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like they reference Big Al's Toy Barn in this, which comes back in a bigger
Mhm.
way in part 2.
Yep.
And
And he's voiced by
they've always
Wayne
been
Knight.
just throwing. Yeah.
And he's voiced by Wayne Knight. Speaking of Jurassic Park,
There you go. It all comes full circle.
Dawson, we got Dawson. See, nobody cares. But anyways, you ready to get into the deep dive?
Sure.
Sure.
So, first things first, the opening brings back so many memories of when I used to play with my toys and used to go on adventures and all that stuff. And I thought it was really cool because in this one, it's just, like the toy versions of the character. And,
Right.
it's clearly in a boy's bedroom. I like how in the third one, how it's like this fantasy scape. I
Yeah,
love
it's
that shit so much.
The way Andy sees it in his mind.
Yeah. Well, what was funny, I know we're not talking about that movie, but what was crazy was I heard the third one was really sad at the end. And the entire movie, I was on the edge of my seat, including that moment.
Oh man, the third one is like a gut punch.
Yeah.
I saw it in theaters. Oof.
Dude, I
Wasn't
almost
ready
cried like a
for it.
little bitch during that
I
movie.
did cry like a little.
Oh, yeah.
I cried like just bawled in the middle of a theater,
Dude,
surrounded by a
honestly-
bunch of children laughing and having a great time.
Yeah,
I'm
honestly,
having some
the-
sort of
the
like
ending-
old man existential crisis
You're,
here.
you're there,
Oh,
you're
God.
like, my innocence, my lost
Honestly,
innocence.
like the ending of that movie,
Ugh,
top 3
jeez.
favorite movie scenes of all time.
Oh, yeah.
The end
I
of
mean,
it, the
yeah.
end of it, like them in the furnace, like all that movie. Like
Oh, the
Toy Story
So I'm
3
talking
is a
about when he gives the
masterpiece.
toys to Bonnie.
Even that though, I mean, yeah, no, all of it. Like, man, I love Toy Story 3.
Yeah, it's the
It may be
final-
my favorite of these.
Yeah, the final thoughts of the Fableman set up Eric. The last 20 minutes I saw Saint Redemption, and then that moment in Toy Story 3 are my 3 favorite movie moments of all, or movie scenes of all time.
Mm-hmm. I can agree with 2 of those.
It's not a horror sci-fi and beyond episode if I don't mention Top Gun Maverick or the Fablemans.
Yeah, that's true.
or Steven Spielberg.
Yeah.
Yep.
Still waiting on Top Gun. It'll come at some point, I bet.
Yep. Yeah, it will. It definitely will. But yeah, no, I just love that, and I just love how he has all these toys that really don't mix together. But
Yeah.
that's part of the charm of the scene. So you have a Mr. Potato
Right.
Head with a Snaky Dog, with a cowboy, with Little Bo Peep that he probably stole from his sister.
Right.
Um, and then he comes in and ruins the fun, which was kind of fun. Um, yeah, I thought that was real. That was real.
Yeah, I mean, of all these, the only real like I guess product placement toy in here would be the Mr. Potato Head, right? Like that's the only one. All the rest of these are sort of like amalgamations of like
Yeah, and there's like a
real,
spooky
not real
girl,
stories.
and there's like, well, I guess the little like play school like karaoke machine that doesn't show up till the second one, does it? There's an sketch.
Well, there is an etch a sketch in here. Yeah, I
No,
guess
the
you're right. And
karaoke
then there's
machine's
that.
in this one, I think.
Is it in this one? Okay.
Yeah, because when he's doing the
That's right.
announcement. Yeah.
Because my brother had that exact toy. That's a
Nice.
very real toy. So there's
Yeah.
a few real toys
Yeah,
sprinkled
you're
in
right.
with all the sort of made up toys.
Yeah, one thing I thought was kind of interesting when you watched one of the special features of 3, Lean Unrich was talking about, well, when you're making one of the Toy Story movies, you have to kind of make up your own toys that aren't real,
Right.
but then they kind of become real. It's kind of funny how that works out.
Oh man,
Yeah,
yeah. No, I wanted
mean,
a Slinky Dog.
They
For sure.
made who knows how much money from selling
Yeah.
Buzz and
Right.
Woody dolls.
Well,
so.
Eric, my birthday's coming up in a couple of months, or in a month. If you want to be nice and give me a Buzz Lightyear,
Maybe. That's
maybe.
not usually how gifts work with me. I usually pick a gift for you.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
Dude,
no,
I
I'm sure
think
you are.
well, you're real big on vinyl and action figures. That's like your big thing with me.
I just like to look at a person if I'm giving them a gift and go like, I think they would like this, and then
Yeah.
give them something I think they would like.
No, it's cool. No, that was the same thing with that Jurassic Park action figure set of Steven Spielberg. that
Right,
got me.
yeah.
Yeah, that was
I knew
that
you
was
would like
dope.
that. Yeah, I knew you would
Yeah.
like that. So
Yeah, absolutely. I did. So yeah, that's a lot of fun, that whole opening scene. And then you got the iconic song by Randy Newman, which
Right.
just warmed your heart,
Did we
man.
get- do we get 3 Randy Newman songs in this one?
Yeah.
do, right?
There's that one, there's Sailing, and then
And-
there's
Strange Things.
Strange Things.
Honestly, I think Sailing is kind of overkill.
Oh no, I think that's a brilliant, like
Really, I
beautiful
like
song.
the lyrics
Yeah.
of the
Love
song.
that. I like that way more than You Got a Friend in Me.
Really, I like the lyrics of the song, and I think it's a beautiful moment. I just think adding it in that scene, it was just a little bit too much. It's like
How could it be too much? It's
just
like
weird.
Buzz's
Weird?
whole
I don't
existential
know.
crisis
Yeah.
coming to a
Yeah, but I just feel like they could have just done that through like facial expressions and like instrumental music. Not
I don't
like
know.
a
I think
full-on
that song works so well in that
Okay.
scene. I love it.
Hey,
So-
I love all the Randy Newman songs in this
So you
movie.
can't tell me-
yeah, and then you get the best one in the second one.
oh, when
Oh,
I was
yeah.
gonna bring that up. Oh my god,
The
that
Sarah
tears my
McLachlan
heart
sings
out.
it.
That
Oh,
tears my
man.
heart out every single time. I see
She
that.
loves me. Oh, what a
Dude,
great
I
song.
cannot listen to that song outside that movie because it will just wreck me.
Yeah, it'll do that.
It'll do it. Dang old Randy Newman.
Yeah.
Just tear my
It's
heart
weird. I've
out.
never really listened to a whole lot of Randy Newman, like apart from the songs he does. I've heard like he does some film scores and stuff, but I don't
Uh-huh.
know his proper body of work
Mm.
that well.
He's
Even
got a
though I
lot
do
of
an impression of him, which is fun.
And of course you do. You do a person of everybody.
Me and my roommate in college, we used to sit around and just make up fake Randy Newman songs.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd be like, "My name is Randy Dandy Doo." That's what. That's your name too.
That's good.
Did you ever
Randy
wa-
Newman's other catalog is like a lot of strange songs. I can see why they picked him for this, but
The
there's
few
also
I've
some
heard,
like
I know he writes a lot of like satirical, kinda
satirical,
stuff.
yeah. Putin putting his pants on and
Right.
like short people.
Short
There's also a
pe- I've
couple of
heard
racy
short
ones.
people.
Yeah, there's a couple of racy ones out
Yeah.
there too. I won't go
Yeah.
into those, but
There's one. I don't know if you guys watched the series on YouTube called Honest Trailers.
Oh yeah, I've seen that
Yeah,
many times.
there's one for Toy Story where they're making
Hmm.
fun that they got Randy Newman to do the music for this, and it's comedian Will Sasko as Randy Newman, and he's like, "This
Oh,
ain't a
okay.
Toy Story. That's not a Toy Story. It's a story about a bunch of toys. It come alive for a little boy. Ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba-da-ba toy. These are the Toy Story. You got the Toy Story."
I always forget that You Got a Friend in Me is like the beginning of the movie. I mean,
Hmm.
Yeah.
after the sort of cold open,
Yeah.
it goes right into that song. I always think the song is
Just-
like later in the movie, but no, it's like right. It just drops it right away.
Yeah.
Oh
It
yeah,
was
this
fun.
movie is fast too, like 80
It's
minutes.
84 minutes long with
Yeah.
credits. I
Mhm.
mean, I love that about it.
Yeah.
Oh
You know what's
yeah,
crazy? I used to think the word called open meant the opening of the movie was dark or like menacing, but it could
like
be
chilly.
anything.
It's just a
Yeah.
chilly opening.
Yeah, but like I'm like, well, SNL had cold open, so I'm like, oh,
Hmm.
and those are supposed to be
Yeah.
funny, so yeah. Never mind, I'm a fucking idiot then.
Yeah, you didn't know. It's all good. Now you know.
Um, I will say I love how Andy's toys act like employees at a company. It's like a company. And
Hmm.
Yeah.
it's real evident when, again, going back to three, because I love that movie, um, where they kind of talked about how if Andy toys are kind of like employees, then Bonnie toys are kind of like, actors in like an improv group kind of thing. Like they're
Oh
more,
yeah. That is funny.
yeah.
Yeah.
Well, what also helps that you have freaking Timothy Dalton as like a porcupine, as like a
Yeah.
thespian porcupine, which is
Hmm.
real funny. Um, I like that a lot. But yeah, I thought that was real fun. I think that's real fun. How he just and well, I'm sure you guys know Woody was supposed to be an absolute just dick bag in this movie.
I
Yeah,
mean,
this went through a lot of changes to
Yeah,
get to the
yeah.
yeah, he was
movie.
supposed
Was
to
And
be like real mean, and he was like making fun of all the toys. He's not necessarily mean in this movie. It's more that he has not intimacy issues, but
insecurity.
yeah, he is
yeah. Yeah.
here. Like
Yeah.
he loves the fact that Andy is his favorite toy.
Hmm.
And when a new toy comes in, it
Right.
really hurts them.
Course. And you've got Tom Hanks sort of
Yeah.
playing off of him too, which is can take someone like I read the book about the League of Their Own the other
Mm.
day, and so like Jimmy Dugan in that movie is a complete just like washed up drunk who's very
Mm.
mean and ultimately learns his lesson, but like would not be as fun if it wasn't played by like Tom Hanks. Like if it was,
Yeah.
I think they wanted to get Robert De Niro originally to play Jimmy
Yeah, he would
Dugan,
have been
and it wouldn't have worked. It would have been
well, you don't have that warming
too
presence with De
serious.
Niro, quite with De Niro,
Yeah.
like you do with Tom Hanks.
Hmm.
'Cause you need that part toward the end of that movie where Davis goes back with her husband, and then Tom Hanks is all pissed off at that, and he's like, you know, it's baseball's hard. If it was easy, nobody would do it. You need that kind of like presence with
Mm.
Tom Hanks that De Niro did not have, and I think
Right.
I've never
it's
seen
the
that
same.
movie. I have
I,
no idea what you're talking about.
oh, you never seen A League of Their Own?
I've never seen it.
Oh my
I
God!
Oh
know.
Well,
I need to watch it
man.
at some point. I
yeah,
just
it's
have
so
never
good.
gotten around.
And you know what, Jackson? I don't care what you guys say about it. You're a misogynistic person for not
Oh,
watching that movie.
okay. Because I've never seen a movie.
No,
Okay.
Jeez.
I'm kidding. I'm
Jesus.
kidding. I'm kidding. I know you're not misogynist. Just
I
given
know they
our-
I know for Toy Story, they approached a lot of different actors about
yeah,
possibly Woody. I think the first one they approached was Paul
Mm.
Newman.
really.
Huh. Yeah. Okay. I can
Of
see
course, he
that.
goes on to play
Mustache.
Doc
Yeah.
in Cars, so he
Mhm.
Yeah,
eventually
and
did
then he
work.
was in Road Edition with Hanks.
Yeah, but that was after this. But yeah,
Yeah.
like that would have been a much more sort of
Mm,
grumpy, darker
Mhm.
Woody.
mm.
And then I think I read that they initially approached Billy Crystal to be
Yes.
Buzz.
Oh,
So that's a weird choice. Of course, he went on
that
to
would have
be
been.
Monsters Inc.
Mm.
That's true.
So they
It would have
eventually
been a
got
weird
on
dynamic though.
together.
Yeah.
That would have been Paul Newman and Billy Crystal.
Crystal.
as Woody and Buzz. Like that makes no sense to me
Yeah,
because
I think this was a better choice with
I
Hank
mean,
and
if you think
Alan.
about it, and I brought this up with y'all off the pod, but if you think about it, like Tom Hanks, the way we think of him now, when they started making this movie, he was not on that level yet.
Mm,
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, he had been in Philadelphia,
mm,
Won an
and I
Oscar.
guess when
Yeah.
they started recording the vocals and stuff, that movie was out, but he hadn't won the Oscar yet.
mm.
Okay.
And then he goes on to win a second Oscar like the very next year. And this is all in between when they started this movie
Mm.
and when they finished
Mm-hmm.
this movie. At that
Wow.
point, he's a double Oscar winner and
Mm-hmm.
like sort of the mayor of Hollywood.
Yeah. America's
And
Dad.
Tim Allen, he had been on Home Improvement. Home Improvement started like 91.
Mm.
Mm-hmm. But it was in full swing at that point. It was
Yeah,
like,
huge hit,
yeah.
huge phenomenon show. Of course, I used to watch that show all the time. So if you think about it, like Tim Allen and Tom Hanks were kind of on equal footing as
Mm.
Mm-hmm.
regarding their celebrity, because Tom Hanks was in some hit movies, but Tim Allen was in everybody's house every week
Yeah.
on television.
The TV show. Yeah.
Right.
Like the
Yeah,
sitcom
so
of
yeah,
the
I guess
time.
it was really that double Oscar one that really solidified
Yeah,
Hank.
because after that he goes
Yeah,
on a real tear and he's doing like Apollo 13 and Saving Private
yeah,
Ryan.
This is the same year. This
yeah.
is the same year as
Castaway.
Apollo 13 and
Yeah, same year.
Yeah,
yeah, crazy.
Castaway.
Castaway,
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah,
movies
Road to
that make
Perdition.
a lot of money and are very critically acclaimed, and he becomes like the biggest movie star.
Yeah, like
But
who
he
doesn't?
was not that when he got cast in this movie. He
Yeah, like
was,
who
Yeah.
doesn't love Tom
but he
Hanks? Like,
wasn't huge.
yeah, everybody loves
Well,
Tom
yeah.
Hanks.
That was he was just coming off of when he got cast in this was right before he had done Philadelphia. A League of Their Own was a hit, but before that he'd come off like a bunch of flops from like the late
Yeah, I
80s
mean,
through the
he
early
made
90s.
big in like '88, and then
88,
everything
yeah.
it was like
Like
Bonfire of the
Punchline,
Vanities and
Bonfire of the
stuff like
Vanities,
that.
yeah, and
Yeah,
everything.
Joe versus
It was like,
Volcano.
oh yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Dude,
Yeah.
Which Joe
dude
versus
was in a-
Volcano is great. I love Joe versus Volcano,
Have
but it
you
was
ever
a flop
seen it?
at the time. Oh, I love it.
that dude was in a movie about the Satanic Panic where he plays like the dungeon master in like a rip-off D&D game.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I've never seen it, but I've seen clips from it, and it
Yeah, I haven't
seems
either.
like not worth watching.
Yeah,
Seems bad.
It's
yeah,
called like Mazes and Monsters or something like that.
yeah. But
Yeah.
let's go to Tim Allen real quick because I think he really sells him being a spaceman.
He's
Like,
awesome.
Yeah, he's so good
Mhm.
in this movie.
Yeah.
You mean that happy child?
Like,
his
ain't no happy
deadpan-
child.
His very literal deadpan is so good in this movie.
Yeah. Well, I
Did y'all
love.
watch Home Improvement when you were
Yeah.
kids?
Uh-huh.
A little bit.
Drew, yeah, it would have been a little bit before your time, but I know Eric was around when that show was big.
Boy, I'm
Oh,
watching
absolutely.
Party
We
of
watch it every
5
week.
right now, okay? So don't even go there.
Yeah, but I'm saying like when you were a kid, you would not
Yeah.
probably have been aware of Home Improvement, even though it was on.
Yeah, I
It's
watched
probably in
it.
reruns at that point. I mean, there was still some on. I
Yeah,
think.
it was such a great show. I mean, it's actually a really deep show if you watch
Mhm.
it. Like it gets into some really like profound things,
Oh yeah, like
all in
one of
service
the
of
kids,
very silly comedy.
Yeah.
very
I-
silly comedy about a overly masculine man having to come to terms with like his feelings with his family. And,
Right, exactly.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty
Oh,
good.
I
Yeah,
did-
it's,
I just gotta say one thing, guys. Ooh.
Yeah.
But no, but that's kind of different. This is kind of different from that where he just plays a complete
Oh,
goofball.
it's very different.
Yeah,
Yeah.
in that movie.
Mhm.
So like he's very like straight, and even in the Toy Story sequels, where he in full realization, like I'm not an actual space ranger. I'm just a toy based
Yeah.
off of based off a movie, with Chris Evans.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel
What-
like Buzz gets done dirty by the sequels.
yeah,
Yeah.
like a little bit. He gets kind of
He's
pushed
sort
to the
of-
back.
Like he is the major focus of this movie, and then
Yeah, I'm
he
gonna have
just
to watch those
one
again.
of the other toys in the other movies, and
Yeah, I'm
Woody
gonna-
is the real focus.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to
Yeah.
watch those again. But that was the one that kind of bugged me about that Buzz Lightyear movie with Chris Evans. I thought it was fun. It was a lot of fun. But my problem was, it said at the beginning that in 1995, a little boy saw a movie and bought the
Right.
action figure, and then this is that movie. It's like, well, it was a good enough movie, but like this is not the type of movie that like a 10-year-old Andy would like.
Well, it's not the kind of movie that would have come out in 1995
No,
either.
no.
Yeah,
That would have been fun though if they did that where it was like something retro
Yeah,
animation.
I enjoyed that movie for what it was. I thought it had some really good stuff going for it, but I
I
don't
never
really
watched
consider
it.
it part of Toy Story
yeah. Well,
canon.
there was that Buzz
Yeah.
Lightyear like cartoon that I used to watch when I was a kid,
Yeah, I've
and I
never
think
seen that.
yeah, they
Never
should have
seen
done it
it.
more like that.
Hmm.
Like just like a dumb action adventure. It
How do you
honestly, well, what it felt like was, it felt like a reboot of Buzz Lightyear. Like this is like the
Kind of,
more
yeah.
adult, darker
Sure.
version
Yeah.
of this character.
They probably were trying to do a spin-off into something new where they could just do Buzz,
Yeah,
but
Mhm.
probably didn't work. So
it flopped too. So it did
yeah,
not.
Pixar's
did not
Pixar's
make-
not bulletproof. For a while they were.
Yeah.
They were bulletproof
for
up until
for about 10, 15 years. Yeah,
Yeah.
there was no stopping Pixar, and then it's just that's
Good
the way of
Dinosaur came
marketing.
out. Yeah.
Yeah.
It
I
happens.
Okay.
kind of
There's
like
ebb
that
and flows.
movie. I kind of like the Good
I
Dinosaur.
do
I'm
too.
only people
I
that
haven't
defend
seen
it
it.
because of how absolutely bug nuts crazy it is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
It
not
is
my
so-
favorite one, but it's I like it better than some of the more recent ones.
I'll
say
watch that one before I'll watch like Cars. I don't care anything
Yeah.
about Cars.
I like Cars
Yeah.
3 a lot. Cars 3 was really good.
I
I
thought
never-
Cars 3 was
anything
okay.
about
I never
Cars
saw
3.
Cars 2. Cars 2 is still the only Pixar movie I've never
Dude,
seen.
I remember seeing that trailer for Cars 3 and just being absolutely shocked by it. When it was showing Mike McQueen getting that wreck. I'm like, oh my god! This is the same fucking franchise that with the whole that the sequel with the whole fucking movie is just a James Bond parody with like
Mm-hmm.
a tow truck voiced by Larry the Cable Guy. This is the same fucking franchise that gave you that.
Mm-hmm. Intense.
Yeah. That makes
Pixar was
no-
really up in their game in intensity near the end of their
Yeah,
heyday.
speaking of gritty reboots and sequels, that was like that version of
Mhm.
the Lightyear movie. Was just like to take something completely childish and just make it dark, kind of like Riverdale,
Mm.
kind of thing. Speaking of that, what kind of franchise would you like to see that like get the darker, more adult version of that?
I don't know. I would like to see one do
Mario
the
Brothers.
inverse.
Mario?
I want
Uh,
to see
like a
what?
You want to see
oh,
Mario
so like
Brothers?
a
No, I
darker
wanna
than
see-
the 90s version.
Oh yeah, I want to see it done in like the style of a Zack Snyder movie,
Mm.
Okay.
but it's Mario Brothers. But it still has all the same creatures and iconography, but done like it's 300, and
love
it's
it.
really bloody.
And
So when you jump on the Goomba, it like blood and guts go everywhere. in
instead
slow-
of so
That's what I want to see.
so Mario and Luigi take actual mushrooms.
Right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Very-
that's really
very
what
hard
they do.
R.
That's what that's alluding to. It's like with it's like Snatch with Scooby Doo. Like that's his code name for drugs and weed. Yeah, but anyways, I gotta think about that one. I gotta think about like an adult version of something.
I would do the opposite. I would take something hard and then make it very much for children.
or like
If you took
Goodfellas.
if you took Evil Dead and then made it with puppets or something.
Dude, they need to make that series like horror babies.
Mm.
I want to see horror babies. Like I want to see
Just
baby
like Muppet
ghosts-
Babies.
It's like Jason and Michael Myers
Yeah,
and Freddy
Ghostface.
Krueger, and they're all like Muppet babies. Oh my god.
Yeah,
they
Ghostface,
could.
Pinhead, the Xenomorph, Predator, Chucky.
I would watch that short. I don't know if you could sustain it for a whole season, but
Yeah.
it'd be interesting to see if they
It'd
could.
be a really good like YouTube like short
Mhm.
series, like
Yeah.
like 3-minute episodes or whatever.
Yeah.
They always
actually
just
have
end up killing the nanny by accident.
I actually have a coworker who's an aspiring rapper, and his rap name is Baby Chucky because he's a huge
Mm.
Chucky fan.
Love that.
Yep, which is awesome. Now can I go in rant mode a little bit?
Sure.
Is it about Toy Story? Because we haven't talked about that in like 5 minutes.
That's true.
Yeah, no, it's about
We
Toy
went
Story.
way off of it.
Okay.
So, like I said, I love the Toy Story movies. Grew up with it, childhood classic.
Mm-hmm.
And then my dad told me when we were gonna go on a Disney trip that there was a Pizza Planet, and I was all excited because I thought it could be like Pizza Planet from the movie. No,
Uh-huh.
it's just some generic pizza restaurant with Toy Story stuff every once in a while, and there's like arcade games. I'm like, no, I want the actual Pizza Planet from this
Right.
movie. Like, I
It
want
does look
like
like a really fun place.
yeah,
Yeah,
like I
I want to be able
want
to
like
drink that
space
alien slime.
guards to like tell me, welcome to Pizza Planet. You're free to enter.
Mhm. The whacking alien. Love all
Yeah,
that.
yeah, like Alien, which is an ode to Alien.
Oh yeah.
Yeah,
Was there a rocket ship where you could get one of like the little green guys in it at least?
I honestly don't remember, but I remember there's like the bottom floor, which was like the restaurant area, and then the top floor, which is like the arcade area.
Hmm.
No, the bottom floor was the arcade area. The top floor was the restaurant, the eating area. And I
Hmm.
think they had like the aliens hanging down, like they had like stuffed animals, like the
Mm.
aliens,
Hmm.
which is pretty cool. But yeah, I want the actual Pizza Planet, like that. Like what the hell, man? But we are getting a new Monster Inc. ride with the Harryhausen restaurant, which is pretty cool.
Mm. Cool.
Yeah, this is pretty dope. But why can't we get fucking Pizza Planet? I want Pizza Planet.
Just start a petition. Start an online petition.
Yeah,
Bring
exactly.
back Pizza Planet.
I was
Yeah.
like,
I
when I
wanna.
was a kid, those little alien creatures from the claw machine were the funniest things I had ever seen in my entire life. I
The
laughed so hard every time they
claw.
came up. Yeah, that claw. He's like, oh, I'm going to Nirvana. It
Stop it, you
awaits.
zealots.
Yeah,
And then,
and
of
then
course, in the
as he's
second
get,
one, they show back up and they're like, you have
Hmm.
saved our lives. We are eternally grateful.
Hmm.
well, the thing is, you said we're going to Nirvana. As as they're getting lifted up to Nirvana,
Yeah.
you hear that'll be pretty funny. In Utero would have came out a year earlier, right? That was 94.
93. Oh, it's that one. That's 94. 93, 94.
Well,
I
I
can't remember.
mean, 94 is when Cobain died. In Utero, I think, was 93.
Yeah.
Nevermind was 91.
Yeah.
Bleach was 80.
Yeah, 'cause he
That's the
killed
only three
himself
of
a month before I was born. Like literally a month before, or they
Yeah.
found his body a month before I was born,
Right.
at
Mm.
least.
All
'Cause, yeah,
right,
that was
now we're
April
talking
5th.
about Kurt Cobain's suicide on this Toy Story episode.
Yeah, well, you mentioned
Welcome to our
Nirvana.
children's.
Okay.
Um, yeah, and then I like how they made Sid's room like the scariest thing imaginable.
Oh yeah, no, this movie gets really, really, really kind of dark and spooky
Yeah,
for like 90s G-rated movie.
Right.
yeah,
All the like the makeshift toys are
yeah. And then
always
there's like
super
black
fun.
light posters. I'm surprised that there's not a corn poster in his room somewhere.
Nobody was listening to Korn in 95.
True.
What? That was 95. Well, when
I
did the
think
first
so.
corn album came out?
I mean, they might have been out, but they weren't big yet.
They
Okay.
weren't big till like the early 2000s.
Late 90s, early 2000s, yeah.
99, yeah.
Okay.
99 was when the Freak
Nine
on a
Inch
Leash
Nails.
video was out because I used to see that like almost every day, and that video rules.
Oh, freaking Elise.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, that's the name of the band, Nine Inch Nails.
9 Inch Nails were around, yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is funny because Trent Reznor did the music for Soul.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He's just doing all the movies these days.
Yeah, I actually like Trent Reznor at the soundtrack or the score guy versus
Mm.
like his Nine Inch Nails stuff. Is my
Depends. Depends on the track. I like those early 90s albums, but I also really love the soundtrack to the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles movie they did. It really like slaps. It's
Oh, the
great.
recent one?
Yeah, the Atticus Ross and Trent Reznor
Honestly, I don't remember
Mutant
it.
Mayhem one. Well, go back and listen to it. It's
Okay,
great.
well, oh well.
Okay.
I like how we're talking about everything except for Toy Story. It's like everything leads us on a rabbit trail.
Yeah. But no, I really do like that kind of part in this movie where all the toys come out. You have like the baby head on the spider leg, very
Mm.
very much like the thing. You got the hooker, which is the
Oh,
fishing hook
Legs?
on the
legs.
leg. Yeah, it's the
Legs.
hooker.
Yeah.
um,
What's y'all's favorite gag in the movie of all of them, or like what's your favorite like line if you've got one?
I
There's a
really
lot.
I really like the part where it's actually two of them and they're kind of in close succession. I like
Sure.
when Woody calls Buzz Lightyear,
Hmm.
and I really like when he says, Buzz, the things I want to tell you, I can't say because we're in front of preschool toys.
That's a good little play on words. Jackson?
I don't know. I think it's probably what I already said. It's got to be
Mm.
like how all the aliens worship the claw. I just love that. I think it's, but that's the thing about this movie is like it's so packed with gags,
Hmm.
and
Yeah, yeah.
they pretty much all land. Like I can't think of any gags in this movie where I'm just like, ugh, that didn't work.
Yeah.
No, they
Yeah.
all work.
Oh,
Yeah.
how can we forget the classic? You are a toy. You
Right.
are the real Buzz Lightyear. You're an action figure. You are a child's plaything. You are a sad, strange little man. I beg your pity. Well, yeah. Well, good riddance to you, you loony.
My favorite little bit is like a throwaway line, and it's one where like Woody gets thrown on the bed, and I think his cord gets pulled, and it's just like somebody's poisoned the water hole. Always makes me laugh.
Dude, I love
Oh,
the
I
part
like
when
when
Buzz gets literally buzzed off a tee.
Oh, Mrs. Nesbit, oh,
Yeah.
such a good gag.
I'm not Buzz. I'm
Such a good gag.
Mrs. Nesbit.
He starts laughing, so good.
I one little one that I really like is when they're in the toy box and they pop out and
Howdy.
the shark pops out and he's got the hat on. He's like, "Look, I'm Woody. Howdy, howdy, howdy."
And
So good.
that's voiced by Jack Angel, the original voice of Smokey the Bear.
Oh, is it? I didn't
Is it
know that.
really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
Only
This
you can move it
voice
forward
cast in
fires.
this is stacked.
Yeah.
And like it's crazy to think that this is the first Pixar movie because they've got Tom Hanks and Tim Allen. They've got like Don Rickles, like
Yeah.
legendary insult comic. He used to hang out with the Rat Pack.
Yeah,
They've got
John
John
Ratzenberg. Yeah.
Years. They've got
Well, John Ratzenberg's in
Annie
every Pixar
Potts.
movie.
Yeah, he's
Wallace
always-
Shawn is the T-Rex.
yeah, Wallace Shawn. is the Rex.
Jim Varney.
Jim
is
Varney?
Slinky. Yeah.
Yeah, like
Be
absolute
happy.
90s icon Jim
Mhm.
Varney.
Yeah.
Ernest.
Dude,
I will say-
my favorite part, going back to Buzz getting Buzz, I love the part when Woody snaps him out of it, and then he starts to get into like an existential crisis, and he's like, "Years of academy wasted."
It's good.
Okay, here's something that bothers me about this movie. And it doesn't ruin the movie or anything. I still think it's a masterpiece. But, and I don't think I'm the first person to say this. I'm pretty sure this has been talked about before. The way they characterize Sid in this movie really bothers me because he's not evil. Like, he's just playing with toys differently. And yeah, sometimes he blows them up, but sometimes he like takes them apart and puts them back together in interesting ways. Like he's being very creative.
I see what you're saying. You got to think about it from the perspective of a toy.
Yeah, but in real life, there's no such thing as a toy's perspective.
Hey, Jackson, just in case you weren't aware, this movie is called Toy Story, not a human
I
story.
know, but
Gotta
like,
focus on the
I don't know. I
motherfucking
think
toys.
the movie goes out of its way to make like Sid the bad guy, but he doesn't do anything wrong in the movie. Like he's a little mean.
But you're seeing it from
He's
the
mean to his
perspective of
sister,
toy.
but
his sister, but like in a way that every kid, that has a
yeah,
little
anyone that
bit-
had a
I
younger
don't
sibling.
agree with you with that. I'm sorry.
But what he's doing to the toys is not immoral or wrong. It's not like he's out there like, killing small animals.
It's true, and they do paint him like one of those kids where he's just like,
Yeah.
like one step away from like blowing up a cat or something.
Yeah, but he's just having fun with toys.
Yeah.
So what?
I've blown up an army man before. I've had a firework and strapped it to an army man to see what would
Oh
happen.
yeah. Well, I already told,
Everybody's done
Yeah.
stuff like that.
yeah, I already told you I used to sling my Woody with the by his pull string.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll tell you
Kids are
another
mean
thing.
to their toys. Kids are rough on their toys.
Yeah, I'll tell you another thing I did.
He puts them back together.
Yeah, I remember I had the that Mr. Fantastic toy that was basically Stretched Armstrong, but Mr. Fantastic.
Okay.
But it was
Mhm.
based off of the Tim Story Fantastic Four.
Okay.
And I remember
Mhm.
I just got bored with them one day, and I
Like,
decided
I want to see how far I can stretch this before it breaks.
Oh
You
no!
cut him
I
open?
cut his arms.
Oh, you cut him?
Yep.
And all that corn syrup poured out of him.
Yep. It was pretty funny. My
I
mom
used
I
to
had a
I used to freeze my GI Joes.
oh my
Like I
god.
would put them in a Tupperware and like, put it in the freezer for a few hours till it completely froze solid, and then it was like
Mhm.
they had to like rescue him from like the ice, stuff like that.
Yeah.
good.
There was actually
That was
in
my favorite thing
yeah,
to do.
and 3, there is actually gonna be a scenario where Bonnie's playing with her toys where she actually has the toys in the ice bucket or in her ice cabinet, like in her freezer, and
Mm.
she would have to she got like Woody to rescue them, like kind of like a Return of the Jedi, or not Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back kind of
Straight back, yeah.
kind of
Going on
thing.
to
Wait,
Hoth.
let's
That's
back
funny.
up for a second. Did you just call it an ice cabinet?
Yeah, I couldn't find the words.
Oh, okay.
An ice cabinet. I've never heard that phrase before.
Yeah,
That's
that
actually a
sounds
good
like
descriptor of what
that
it
sounds
Very
is.
proper. Yeah.
yeah, that sounds like something that a
Very
British person would
British.
say. Ice cabinet.
Oh, can you go fetch that something from the ice cabinet for me, please? Yes.
Go get me
Charles,
some ice from the ice cabinet.
Charles, would you be ever so kind as to get the DiGiorno's from the ice cabinet? It's not pizza, it's DiGiorno's.
Exactly.
Oh no, it's not delivery DiGiorno. I fucked that up. You know what I meant. But yeah, no, that's a lot of fun to think about. I mean, we all have done it. Like here's
Yeah.
what I wanted to do. I wanted to, I really want to buy a stormtrooper toy, like a big one, and tape it to
Mhm.
to a rocket and blow it up.
That sounds fun.
Yeah,
Sure.
like just duct tape it on
Yeah,
a rocket.
I feel like Sid gets done dirty in this movie.
Yeah.
And then the toys traumatize him.
Yeah,
Like he's got how much therapy is he gonna have to go through?
Years.
The
Never
backyard
gonna get
one
over
day
it.
and all the toys came to life and threatened me.
Sure. Well, there's no toys here now, Sid. Do you see any toys?
yeah. Well, I
And of
just love-
course, this comes back and like I think it's the third one. He's like the garbage collector.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah, he
You
seems
know,
like he's doing
Just coming out
fine.
full circle.
yeah, he's probably fine.
Yeah,
Maybe.
yeah. He's a garbage man. He's just rocking out to
After years
to
of
Nirvana.
therapy, though. Years and years of therapy.
Yeah. He's a garbage man. He's rocking out to Nirvana and Soundgarden while he's picking up trash. And he got the toy like stuffed animals.
Yeah, I mean, he works for like the city dump. He probably finds like old toys and
Mhm.
still like,
Put them back together.
maybe he still is creating
Mhm.
new, stuff like legs and
Yeah,
the little spider baby thing.
yeah. But I will say I like how none of his toys talk, but you're able to feel sympathy for them.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
like
Of course.
it's like the movie Freaks or something like that.
Sure.
There's sort of this own little community, like insular community.
Gooble gobble, receptor, gooble gobble, one of us, one of us.
It's like the Kuleshov effect. It means basically just like the cut to, like it's the situation and then like,
Yeah.
seeing them in it, you personify and project yourself onto them.
I think Sid's toys are really cool.
Mm.
That is true.
Like, I wish I had been that creative as a child to like take apart toys and put them back together in different ways. I was not that kid. I was never
Yeah.
mechanical. I was
Yeah.
more of like I would draw things. That's
Mhm.
me when I was a kid. But
Yeah. I remember when Guardian 3 came out, I remember one reviewer said that the whole experiment that the High Evolutionary was doing was very much like Toy Story.
okay.
Okay.
No, it's not.
Well, no, I mean, well, these are
Not like
animals,
that at
but
all.
like the fact that he's like messing these things together and they're making like real creepy and scary.
It's different when you're
Hmm.
doing it to animals.
Yeah, but I'm not. But yeah, I was getting more Thing
Very
vibe from that movie. I was getting more the Thing vibe from that movie.
Hmm.
Dude, what a way to open up your summer blockbuster. Like the first big summer blockbuster of the year with like fucking animal torture.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of
Guardians
swings there.
3.
Sorry. I gave you a flashback. A Vietnam flashback.
I mean, we've talked
Oof.
about that movie on here before. We all know how I feel about it, but
Yeah. That's
and we've never even done an official episode on it. It's just sort of always been in the ether for the
Yeah,
Yeah.
we'll
past
get there.
couple years.
Oh, you said Ether, which is funny because MCU, Thor: The Dark World.
That's true. It is
Yeah.
one of
Mm.
the Infinity
Mhm.
Stones.
Yeah. Now I do love the part when Buzz flies for the first time or pretends to fly for the first time. I thought that's
Yeah.
one of those moments that really stick out, and then it pays off in the end, and I love that scene so
Yeah,
much.
it's beautiful screenwriting right there.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even the scene before that, like that setup and payoff of it's the match that goes out by the car driving
Mm,
by, and then you plays back into that magnifying glass bit again with like Buzz's helmet.
mm,
It's good stuff. It's really good.
yeah. Buzz, we're flying. This isn't flying. This is falling with style.
So good.
Yeah.
I may have seen the end of this movie more than I've seen the rest of the movie in a lot of
Mhm.
ways. I rewatched it a lot as a kid for some reason. Just like
Yeah.
the last like 10 minutes, like them
Mm.
trying to get on the truck.
Mm.
We had the VHS tape. I got the VHS tape for Christmas, like sight unseen. Like we'd never seen the movie. My
Yeah.
parents were just like, "We'll buy this for you. You're
Yeah, I
gonna
think
love
that's
it."
kind of how it was with me.
Yeah.
Hmm.
Now one thing I do want to talk about is I love the Green Army Men. I think they're so underrated because I just like how like the
They're
whole
pretty great.
idea that like every Christmas and birthday, like Woody would get these army men to see what he got for these
Yeah.
holidays.
And we didn't bring up Arlie Ermy when we were talking about the voice
Oh yeah.
cast.
Yeah.
But yeah, he's the commander of the Green Army Men.
Yeah, which is awesome.
And just how they move too. Like their march is that sort of like because their
Yeah.
base.
Yeah,
So good.
well the
That's
animator
what I like about this movie is like every character sort of moves like you would imagine that toy would
Mhm.
move. You know,
Yeah.
like Woody, whenever he runs, he's very floppy.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Well,
And
I love the fact that the animator did the Green Army Men to make sure they know how to like make them walk right. They actually
Mhm.
would duct tape like plaques of wood on their feet and film themselves.
Oh, that makes
Mm.
sense. Yeah,
Yeah, it
Yeah.
makes
that's
sense.
cool.
Yeah, no,
Animators are like the coolest people in the world. Like,
yeah.
how cool? Like, I can't even imagine being an animator because I
Mm.
don't think I have the sort of bandwidth to do
Mm.
that job
hmm
because it seems very slow and tedious to
Mm.
me. And but the people that can do it, I would love to meet someone that was an like a professional animator just to
Yeah.
pick their brain and like hear about some of the stuff that they do because I know a lot of this stuff is on DVD special features which we don't really have anymore I guess because we're a streaming culture now but just watching them like making the Lion King or whatever and they would bring a real lion into
Mm.
the studio so they could all sort of like
hmm
watch how it moved and
Mm.
everything and like for Finding Nemo all the animators got scuba diving
Mm.
certificates or whatever.
hmm
And so they could all go underwater scuba diving and like observe fish. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah.
hmm
Well, really, that's like true with like any artist. Like you're gonna have to do some research.
True. But I
Sure.
mean, animators, they have to take the way an animal or a person moves
Yes.
and have to recreate it like from scratch.
Oh yeah,
hmm
absolutely. Yeah.
Like, that is a different skill than being able
Mm.
to film something with a camera.
Mm.
hmm
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's a little eeasier in this movie because these
It's next
are
level,
objects that
basically.
wouldn't normally move. So it's not
Yeah.
like
So you can
it's
make it
not
up.
having to recreate like a sort of
Yeah.
like a tiger and how its haunches bend and move
But you have to be
in motion.
imaginative. Like
That's true.
Woody doesn't have to run all floppy the way he does,
But he
the fact
does.
that he does really makes that
Mm.
character even better because it's
Yeah.
so funny every time he has to run. Because
Yeah,
hmm
his
well, that's the
legs
beauty.
are so high and his arms are just kind of like going all over the place. I
Can't
love it.
control them like yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean that's the beauty of animation is like it's unlimited.
Right.
Mm.
Whatever's in your
Mhm.
head, you can do. Which is
And that is one things that this movie is we talked a little bit about like texture wise it doesn't quite hold up well. All the movements in this movie like there isn't hardly any like false notes as far as those goes. Like
No.
looking back on some of them like the animated like especially those early like CGI animated movies from like the 90s like some clunky stuff in there
Oh
compared
yeah,
to
you can watch
this.
something like I don't know, Hoodwinked. Hoodwinked
Mhm.
is a good
Ugh.
example.
Yeah, yeah.
Of course, that was made. I like that movie. I think it's very funny, but
Yeah.
it
Right.
is not well animated.
Dude, did the fact that they open up that movie with like a wonder shot that's very like Michael Mann's Heat is hilarious.
I don't remember. I remember
I don't remember the
Dynamite.
opening
Yeah,
shot.
that's about all I remember.
There's certain things about the animation in that I like. I love how they animate the little squirrel.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Yeah, I do like me some
that's
Hoodwink.
about
Hoodwink
Hoodwinked.
is a good time.
Nobody's ever talked about Hoodwinked this much.
Mhm.
Our next episode, Hoodwinks.
That'd be a good one to do. That's fantasy.
Like I said, I think that movie's fun,
Mm.
but definitely a much lower quality movie than
Mhm.
this. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think all the animation and issues with this movie really come down to just the rendering technology that was available at the time.
Yeah.
Mhm.
It's nothing about the actual way that it's animated. It's just,
Yeah.
it just doesn't have the texture
Mhm.
that something like, Toy Story 4 has, which Toy Story 4 is gorgeous to look
Loaded
at.
with texture, yeah.
Yeah.
All those night scenes, man, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
But I also like how, sort of like Ghostbusters, obviously not to that extent, but I like the fact that, like, they took this character, Buzz Lightyear, gave him a villain, and then, they made a whole TV show, and then gave him, like, a mythology to it.
Mm-hmm.
That's way beyond the 4 movies.
Sure. Well, I mean, this was like a huge hit in
Yeah.
like 95. Like it was made for
Yeah.
like $30 million and it made like 200 and something million in the US. So they were just like looking for anything they could make that was Toy Story after that.
Right, and there's a ride.
Everybody was like sort of baffled by it at the time
Mhm.
because they're like, how is this even? We talked about it already. Like, you're making a whole movie out of CGI and that's all that's in it. Like,
Yeah, there's a Buzz Lightyear ride at Disney, which is amazing.
Yeah.
They use
Yeah.
the suit stuff. It is.
it's an okay ride. It's
I
not as
like
good
it.
as Men in Black at Universal.
Yeah,
That's a way better.
debatable. I think as a kid, I like the Buzz Lightyear one more because I'm a huge I was a
Yeah.
huge Buzz Lightyear kid.
There's also at Hollywood Studios, there's a Toy Story shooting ride.
Yeah, I haven't done it yet.
I can't
That's
remember
fun.
what it's called. Toy Story
Story-
Mania or something
Yeah,
like
Toy
that.
Story Mania.
Yeah. And it's more of like a
Did
game,
y'all hear about
like carnival games. Yeah. It's
Did
fun.
you hear about what happened to the second one? I know we're a little off topic with this, but
Yeah, isn't it something like they didn't want to make a second one, and so Disney threatened to make a second one without Pixar or something
and then
like that?
they decided to get onto it. Eventually it was going to go straight to VHS, and then they decided to put it in theaters. And at some point, when they were almost done with it, they accidentally deleted the movie. Like,
Oh,
all of
that's
it.
right. I did hear about
Oh my
Like
God.
one of the hard drives, and luckily some lady who worked in the offices had kept a backup at home, and so the only way that movie exists is because some lady had a hard drive at her house with the movie on it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
Oh wow! And it's like the
Well, this
actual one,
movie,
but it's the
this movie
actual.
got shut down like in the middle of production.
I didn't know that. That's crazy.
Yeah, I don't remember all the details of it, but it got completely shut down. They call it the Black Friday incident.
Mm.
Yeah.
Hey, at Pixar, and they were just ready to just not go through with it. Finally, obviously,
Yeah, I think people did not like. Cause I think it was based off of how Woody was originally.
I think that's
portrayed.
what it was too. Yeah, like
Yeah.
they just taken the character way too dark,
Mhm.
Mm.
and they had to rethink it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he is a pretty despicable character, but he's not like.
He's not
like
irredeemable.
No, yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, he puts his buzz out the window, but it's because I think one thing
Well,
I thought,
he's not even trying to push him out the window. He's just trying to push him behind the desk.
yeah. Well, the
That's all he
thing
wants to
is-
do. So
well, the thing-
Andy won't lose track of him.
Well, the thing that I thought was interesting was when you watched the special features, there's like a roundtable discussion in there. And John Lasseter, the founder of Pixar, or one of the founders of Pixar, basically said, like, I didn't want to make him like a complete jerk. I wanted to make him sympathetic to the audience. So when he does bad things, like push Buzz, he's like, oh no, Woody, don't do that. Don't do that. I like you, Woody.
Mm-hmm.
Kind of thing. That's what he was kind of more going at.
Yeah, that makes sense. It helps having Tom Hanks too.
Mm.
It does. He's just an affable
Oh no,
president.
Tom Hanks
Mhm.
voiced the original script of
Jerk version,
that was Tom Hanks' voice.
like the jerk version of him, like the
Yeah,
the
like-
one
yeah.
before they.
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all.
you go on YouTube and watch the original version. It's Tom Hanks as
Mm,
that version of Woody. I don't know how
that's
far
funny.
they got into it though, but
Right.
yeah,
Yeah.
at least part of it
Interesting.
he recorded it.
Hmm.
Um, which is so cool with animation because like you can get one person to voice a character that's not working. You can easily replace them. It's
Yeah.
not like a it's not like
Easily is, yeah.
yeah, it's not like a Eric Stoltz Michael J. Fox situation.
Right. Where they had to
Right.
shoot like what, 2 or 3 weeks of the movie again.
Yeah.
Right.
They kept a lot of Lloyd's close-ups for those, I think, and they
Mhm.
just used his over the shoulder of Stoltz in like several shots.
Oh
But
wow.
yeah, I mean, a good example is Shrek because
Oh, I
Chris
was gonna
Farley,
say
Yeah.
that.
yeah, voiced almost the whole part and then
Mhm.
died.
Mhm.
So they had to bring in Mike Myers.
Yeah, I actually thought that was a. I mean, that's sad that Farley passed away because he was
Right.
a
Yeah.
Mhm.
brilliant comedian. But I think having Mike Myers in there as Frank doing a Scottish accent made it so much funnier, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, we don't really know what it would have been like if,
Sure.
I mean, you can listen to like Chris Farley, like
Mhm.
clips of him doing the voice and stuff. We don't know how that movie would have turned out in the end. But
Right.
yeah,
Yeah,
Mike
honestly,
Myers.
I honestly felt like it would have been Tommy Boy again, like his character from Tommy Boy.
I guess, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah, maybe. I don't know. It would have been a different energy for sure.
yeah. But is there anything else you want to talk about this movie?
Trying to think. I think all my other thoughts are about the sequels, which we're not really
Yeah.
talking.
Yeah,
But
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like we've talked around this movie a lot.
we do that a lot with these
We
That's
movies.
do.
true.
Hey, at least we're not as bad as Blank Check with Griffin and David. 'Cause
Mm,
they get real bad talking around the movie.
Well, yeah, but I mean, all their episodes are like 3 hours long now. So
it's
Right.
true.
with us, it's mostly just like if we have a really big one.
Yep.
So
So you want to get the favorite part and least favorite part?
sure. I don't
Yeah.
even-
I don't. Yeah.
All right. You ready to go, Eric? I'll let you go first.
Okay. No pressure. Favorite part.
Boom, 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 with a ding ding.
Well, I'm not gonna do that. Oh. Let's see.
Mess up.
Least favorite part. I don't really have a least favorite part. I mean, I think the only gag that doesn't really work for me is like Buzz saying, "Look, there's an alien," and then Tom
Or
Hanks
Woody.
laughing. Woody, yeah, Woody saying that. Like it makes me laugh, but it's also like it feels like the most easiest joke, I guess, in the movie. If I'm nitpicking, like that's probably the only one that I'm just like, oh, I get it. Like that made me laugh as a kid, but as an adult, I'm like, oh, it's pretty like straightforward.
Yeah.
Favorite part? I don't know. Favorite part is I'm probably gonna steal Jackson's. I don't know. It's when Buzz tries to fly
Mhm.
and he can't. It's I see where he jumps off the balcony and like the look on his face and like him almost going. Oof.
with that
Love it.
awesome Randy Newman song.
Yeah.
Like for some reason.
Really good. The whole scene works for me, but that's my favorite part.
I will say it is. I listened to the original version of that song. It is 1,000 times better than the original version. The original version fucking sucks.
Well, that and I would say that version. I say that scene, and then also Tom Hanks on the rocket car, like getting his face pulled back, always makes me laugh, even as
Yeah.
an adult.
I mean, that's an iconic shot at this point. Like if you
Yeah.
see like a clip reel of, shots from famous films, like that's the Toy Story shot for sure.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's one of them for sure. I
Mm,
think it's that one, and I think it's Buzz flying for the first time in Andy's room.
yeah.
Like the two.
I
most
guess I
iconic-
just feel like I've seen that clip of
Mm.
Woody on the car with the rocket so many times at
Yeah.
this point.
Oh, I'll tell you what I love about Buzz flying for the first time. Is I love how you
Mm.
use different objects around the room, like the Hot Wheels and like
Mm.
Yeah, it's cool.
the Playmobil model thing. Jackson, what is your favorite part and least favorite part of the movie?
Oh goodness. Well, let's get least favorite part out of the way because I don't really have one. I think this movie's just wall to wall a great movie.
Mm.
And I could nitpick about like the rendering of the animation, but that's a
Right.
stupid pick because that's just completely tied to the technology that was available to them at the time.
Mm-hmm.
Exactly.
stupid. It's like, picking on silent films for not having sound.
Yeah.
So, favorite part, I just the dynamic between Woody and Buzz. It's timeless. It's perfect.
Mm.
They are the greatest like animated odd couple.
Odd Couple, yeah.
And Pixar would go on to do this multiple times over. Like, you've got like Monsters Inc. and stuff like that. But I just love that. And those two actors, I mean, obviously they didn't record their lines together or anything, but they play off each other so well. Like it's crazy. Yeah.
You know what I want to see? I want to see a version of Toy Story where it's just the actors on stage just reading the lines.
Oh, like a reading?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Those are fun sometimes. Yeah.
Dude, I want to
I mean-
do that for like Scream. Just get like a bunch of our friends and it's like just like reenact Scream.
Reenact it or reread it or like
Or
reread the.
reread it. I call Stu.
Oh, okay.
I call Stu.
Okay. You can have Stu.
What's your least favorite part of this movie? If you got one.
Oh, I said I don't have one.
Okay.
Anything I would come up with is just nitpicky, stupid.
Okay. So my favorite part and least favorite part are kind of connected to each other. My favorite part is Buzz and Woody trying to catch up to the car. Love that shit. Like that is like some Indiana Jones, like just like issue upon issue upon issue keeps coming out.
Yeah.
And I just love seeing like the different ways like your protagonists have to solve the problem. It's what Chris McQuarrie and Tom Hanks kind of talks about when they're making the Mission Impossible movies.
Yeah.
Is taking that Buster Keaton kind of thing and like figuring out like where the character's at and all the issues that can go wrong within that location and figuring out how the characters can get out of that.
It's what Trey Parker and Matt Stone talk about
Really?
when they talk about they talk about sort of their philosophy of storytelling, and they say that the wrong way to tell a story, and that comes down to even an action sequence, because an action sequence is a little story in and of itself. The wrong way to do it is to say, and then this happens, and then, and then, and then. The right way to do it is you use two phrases, either but or therefore. So something happens, therefore this next thing happens, but this next thing happens, therefore the next thing happens. And it's kind of what's the word? Aristotelian, I guess.
Yeah.
In that way, it's kind of dramatically perfect.
Yeah, and honestly,
the whole video essay about this, it's great.
Yeah, and honestly, when I was working on the script for my screen fan film, like Eric was helping me out with a lot of that stuff, like different issues that can happen,
Yeah.
or things that kind of spice up the scenes a little bit more, or make it more realistic or more suspenseful.
Yeah, you always want to think of it from like a character. Like a character would do this, and then if they have to do this because it's part of the plot, then it doesn't make any sense for them.
Yeah, like I in the original draft, like I had my main character go outside, and she loves horror movies, and she knows all the rules of horror movies. And then Eric was like, "Well, no, you shouldn't have her do that, especially since Ghostface threatens her in the middle of the movie." So I'm like, yeah, that's good. That's a good point. She would not do that. So we kept her inside as much as we could. Yeah, hope that wasn't too much of a spoiler for you guys. My least favorite part, which is connected to my favorite part, is how doesn't Andy find it suspicious that Buzz and Woody just randomly show up in his movie box? Just randomly. Like he can't find them, and then they're right there. Like all the
Oh man, kids losing and can't find stuff all the time. Not really looking, but just like, I don't see him.
He's still developing object permanence, I guess.
Yeah. Well, then how the hell did the mom not find that suspicious? Does that make any sense?
Because the mom's dealing with a whole bunch of other stuff. They're moving.
She's having to move. Yeah.
Mom's busy.
Okay. Oh, speaking of Scream, voiced by Billy's mom.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that's Lori Metcalf.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Nice.
When I found out that was the same actress, I'm like, holy shit. Like,
she's very good at playing moms.
Yeah. Yeah, she's Lady Bird's mom, right?
Yeah, she is.
Yeah, I've never
Mm-hmm.
seen Lady Bird.
She's
I need to
so
see it.
good in that movie too.
Ladybird's
Yeah.
really good.
Yeah. But anyways, you ready to get to rating?
Sure, yeah.
Sure.
I'll start with you, Jackson. What is your Okay, no. Let me back up. So now it's time to get to rating. And how we do our rating system is we do the filmmaking and thematic score separately, out of 5. We add both of those scores up for an overall score. We average out the overall score to make the official horror, sci-fi, and beyond score for whatever movie we're talking about. And I'll start with you, Jackson. What is your filmmaking score out of 5?
I got to give it a 5.
Yep.
I mean, like I was saying earlier, like despite the sort of rendering technology that was
Mhm.
available, everybody that worked on this movie is like operating at the absolute top of their craft. From writing, acting, animation, everybody's just killing it with this movie.
Mm-hmm.
And
Oh
it could
yeah.
have easily been a complete fiasco
Mm-hmm.
because, nobody had ever made a movie with this technology before.
Mm-hmm.
Short films, sure, but
Mm-hmm.
no, but they just nailed it right out the gate.
Yeah, well,
I mean,
and that's how they cut their teeth was short films. They did a whole bunch of short films.
oh yeah, I mean, and I've
Mm-hmm.
seen those and they're good, but this is a whole
Yeah.
different thing. This is like when Walt Disney made Snow White,
Mm-hmm.
you know,
Yeah.
essentially,
Yeah,
just with a
everybody was.
different
Yeah,
technology.
everybody was like, "You fool! It'll never work."
Right. So yeah,
So,
it's fine.
yeah, what's your thematic score?
I feel like it's hard to do without comparing it to where the other movies go.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like this movie really like it digs in at this very cool, profound meaning about like, you know, how we fit into the universe and what is our role in all of this. And like it's scratching at that, but I feel like the other movies sort of deepen and broaden
Mm-hmm.
um that theme. So I'm gonna give this one a 4.
4.
If only because it only has up to go from here. By the time you get to the third
Mm-hmm.
one,
Mm.
that's a 5. But
Oh,
this
that's a
one's like a
totally
4.
different movie.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. So your overall score is a 9. Not too bad. Hey, what about you, Eric? What is your filmmaking score?
I mean, I'm 4.5.
Okay.
Top, the best they could have done with all these things,
Mm.
and like the writing is tip top, and like you were saying too, is just like the performances are so spot on for probably all of them being recorded separately and not really even playing off each other. I mean, that's just like really good like dialogue direction. But some things haven't aged well. It's a little creaky in spots.
Mm.
There's some texture stuff and all that sort of stuff. So 4.5.
Yeah. What about your thematic score?
It's about 4.5 too. It's just
Yeah.
like it's the to the places it's going to go, um, are great. Even though I think 4 is a little unnecessary. Like I feel like they could have ended at 3 and been fine. 4 is beautiful
Yeah.
to look at, but
But now they're making 5, so
yeah. So maybe I'll say it. Maybe I'll be like, oh, this completely justifies 4 now. I don't know, but
I hope 5 is
um,
Buzz's story. I really want
yeah.
Buzz to be front and center
Mm.
again in this franchise.
Yeah. So that means your overall score is also a 9.
Nice.
All right. I'm gonna go my filmmaking score of 4.5.
Mm.
I mean, yeah, there are things a little bit primitive, but it's like what Jackson said. It's not. It's like saying it's like taking a star off a silent movie because it's silent. Because I mean, they didn't have the technology to put in sound.
Sure.
Um, but yeah, no, still the film craft is amazing in this movie.
Mhm.
Thematic, I'm gonna go with 5. I know that's a little, it's a little bit higher than some of what you guys did, but I don't know. These movies really get to me because I grew up with these characters and they're kind of like my
Mm-hmm.
friends,
Mhm.
in a
Yeah.
way. So I get really emotional, when it comes to these characters, and so that means my overall score is going to be a 9.5, and that means the official horror, sci-fi, and beyond score for the original Toy Story from 1995 is a 9.
Yep.
Not bad. Not bad at all. All right, Jackson, do you want to do the Harperthetical first, or do you want to do top five Pixar movies first?
Let's go ahead and get my weekly question out of the way. I'm starting to really enjoy this segment
Mhm.
because it's just fanciful and we don't really have to stay on a topic. We never stay on topic
Right.
anyway.
That's true too. Yeah.
Okay, so this week's Harperthetical is this. It's very obvious. If you could pick one favorite childhood toy to like come to life and you could have a conversation with it, which one would
Mhm.
you pick?
I'll start with you, Eric, if you have one.
I mean, I do. I'm going to pick two because the first one has no context and no one's going to know what I'm talking about because it's like a knockoff toy and like has no one will know what it is and have no emotional connection to it besides myself. I used to have this stuffed duck and it was it's about this tall and his name was Ducky. It wasn't very clever with names back then, but I loved Ducky. Ducky was like my pal from like 7 through like 13, really, if I'm being honest. Love Ducky. I would want to have a conversation with Ducky. But if it was a toy that people would know about, I got a hand-me-down Boglin from my cousins. Does anyone remember what a Boglin
I don't
was?
know what Boglin is.
Oh, what is that?
So it's like these like goblin little creatures that are puppets, and they've got these like glassy, like real looking eyes and these gnarly like bumpy skin.
Interesting.
Oh, I
And they used to
remember
come inside of
those. I didn't
cages.
remember
Yeah.
that's what they were called, but I do remember those. Those things are
Yeah, I don't
weird.
remember those at
I
all.
loved him. I loved him. I had a hand-me-down one, and if he was like tearing, and so like one of his arms was about to fall off, but like if I could have any conversation, I'd want to have a conversation with that Boglin.
What would you ask that toy?
What would I ask that Boglin?
Yeah.
Oh man, it's like, what's it like living in that cage? Sorry, man. Should I should have let you out long ago. What do you do now? Do you like work down at the bog mines? He's just like, no, mostly just drink down at the bar.
Have y'all ever heard of a podcast called Everything is Alive?
Mm-mm.
Mm-mm.
I don't know if it's still going. It was going I sort of lost track of it a couple years ago, but it's interviews with inanimate objects.
Okay.
So they have the host who's the
Mm-hmm.
interviewer, and then every week they have a different, voice actor come on and play like a chair or
Mm.
a towel or a
Mm-hmm.
can of soda. And it's like a 30-minute interview on what it's like to be that object. And it
I love
actually
it.
gets kind of like weird and deep.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah. All right, Drew, what toy would you choose?
That one was tricky for me because I didn't really have like a lot of action figure kind of. I mean, I did. I don't remember half. I don't
I
remember.
guess you're more the video game generation.
Yeah,
Mm.
well, I was really big into Hot Wheels as a kid,
Okay.
but the one I'm gonna land on I was a little bit older. I was maybe like 13, 14, but I had a Spider-Man that was designed off the original Steve Ditko design, like from the very
Mm.
first like
Okay.
issue, and I love that figure. So yeah, I would like that for that to come alive.
What would
Who
you
would you talk
ask
to?
it?
Yeah.
Um, what is it like to have a bunch of sand fill up your costume? Because it's the Sandman. I don't know. What's it like to get punched by a fistful of sand?
So
Mm.
you would talk to it as if it was the real Spider-Man and not
Yeah.
as if it was a toy.
Yeah. Well, I would hope it would be a Buzz Lightyear situation where it thinks it's the
Mm.
actual Spider-Man.
It thinks it's real Spider-Man.
But then
Okay.
you have to like break the news to him and tell him like you're
Yeah.
just a toy. You
Do,
can't shoot.
do
You
all
can't
these
shoot
to-
webs.
do all the toys in the Toy Story universe like think they're the actual thing, and then they gotta come to the realization?
I want to see that movie
Yeah, does Woody think he's an actual cowboy?
where like it's like
At
a
some point.
Matrix type thing where they
Mhm.
have
Like
to
they wake up. That's fun.
Yeah, does
Well, the
Rex
toys
think
got red pilled.
does Rex think he's an actual dinosaur?
Right. They all wake up inside of like a toy store or sort of
Well,
like
'cause clear-
Al's
well, 'cause-
barn, like the Matrix, like all
Well,
those
'cause
pods.
clearly-
They get flushed.
Well, because clearly the aliens think that they're actual aliens being taken out
Yeah,
of the
because they
planet.
worship the
Yeah.
claw.
Yeah, so I would think
Mhm.
like every toy at some point
Maybe it's like, okay, have y'all ever read The Velveteen Rabbit?
Mhm.
a long time ago.
Yeah.
Okay, that book touches on this topic, and it's
Mm,
about how like a child's love is what really brings you to life.
mm,
So I think it's
Mm.
the same situation with these toys. Like Buzz thinks he's a space ranger because he's never experienced the love of a child,
Yeah.
and so by the second one, he's Andy's toy, and he's
mm,
proud to be Andy's toy, and he's very happy about it.
mm,
Mhm.
So yeah, he's fully woken up by that point.
mm,
But I think that's probably what it is when like the relationship between the toy and the child that's playing with the toy is
Mhm.
what sort of brings this sort of awareness.
mm.
Except in Buzz's case, Woody literally has to like scream it at him, and then he has to see a TV commercial and
Yep.
like
Oh, so
Yeah.
did
have
you
a
know?
complete mental breakdown.
So do you know who the voice of the TV commercial?
Who?
Pink Gillette.
Oh, that's fun.
Yeah.
Mm.
That's cool. Yet another like great addition to the voice cast. Like this movie
Yeah.
just keeps on giving.
Yeah.
Stacked.
Okay,
Um.
so I gotta answer my own question.
Yeah.
Um, so when I was a kid, I had a teddy bear named Kirby.
Mm. Mhm.
Uh, Kirby spelled with an E, not an I, not like the marshmallow puff thing from Nintendo. Um,
Or Jack
Kirby
Kirby. Or
Kirby
Kirby
was
from
just like a
Scream.
very plain, like brown bear, button eyes, that sort of thing. He had a red nightshirt,
Mm.
and it said it when they got it. Apparently, it said Kirby loves, and then it came with letters that you could iron onto the shirt or
Oh,
whatever.
nice.
Mhm.
So it was Kirby loves Jackson. It didn't say Jackson because I didn't go by that name back then. But anyway, it's mysterious, mythology there. Um, but he was just like my constant companion when I was a kid. I
Mhm.
remember one time he got lost. I had gone to my grandparents' house, and we realized on the car ride home that Kirby wasn't there, and I had lost my shit. Like I was
Mhm.
crying all night. And of course, it was just he just fallen behind the sofa at my grandparents' house, and he was returned, in short order. But it was devastating to me as a kid,
Mhm.
and I don't really remember this. I only know this because my mom has told
You're
me
right.
about this incident. Um, but yeah, apparently I was an absolute basket case for about 24 hours until my grandmother decided to vacuum behind the sofa and found Kirby.
Right. I feel like
And I'm
everyone
not,
has that who had a
I
had
know
a toy like
Kirby's
that.
still around. I think he's in a box in storage somewhere.
Mm,
It makes me feel
Mm.
really bad for him.
yeah.
But
I would have liked
he's
that with
in
like.
bad shape too. Like my mom had because he had like pads on his paws and his nose, and they had
Mm,
all come off, and so
Mhm.
she just took whatever material she had and like patched him up, so he looks all janky. Um, I need to
yeah.
find Kurt.
Yeah.
You
I
should
had a
I
find
know what I
couple.
would talk to him about. I guess I would talk to him about what it's like. What has it been like to be in storage for the past
Yeah.
30 years or whatever, however long you've been in
Yeah.
there?
I had a couple stuffed animals that were kind of like that. Like I
Mhm.
would take them everywhere. Like I had a
I feel
cheetah,
like
I had a
yeah.
bear.
I feel like everyone had a stuff if you had a stuffed animal at some point that you cared about,
Mm,
at some point you misplaced it and you had a meltdown. Even if
Yeah.
you
right.
don't remember it. Like pretty sure almost everyone had that at some point.
Yeah.
I had a bunch of stuffed animal friends.
Yeah.
I almost set a car on fire once because we were trying to like there was like some wires hanging loose from my mom's car. And me and my brother would like touch them together to see sparks.
Mm.
And then we like burn up the engine or something with it. And I had all my stuffed animals in the back seat and I had to save them all. My mom was like, "Get away from there. It's going to blow up." Felt like an action hero. I saved them all.
Yeah, awesome, man. So you ready to get to top five Pixar movies? And I'll start
Sure.
with you, Jackson. What is your top five?
I'm
Or
gonna have
any
to
honorable
improvise.
mentions? Do you want if you want to do honorable mentions, you can.
Well, I'm not gonna do honorable
Okay.
mentions. You know, my top five for years was like the first three Toy Story movies
Mm.
and Brave and The Incredibles. I think I'm
Mm.
gonna modify it a little bit because I think
Right.
Brave has always been my number one, but I've rewatched it in the past couple of years, and it doesn't hold up as quite as well
Mm.
as I thought.
Hmm.
It's got some flaws to it. I still love it, so it's still going to be in the top five. So I'm going to make that number five.
Mm.
Uh, I'd probably put Incredibles number four. That one again. That's one from right before I feel like Pixar started getting visually more
Hmm.
dynamic.
Mm.
The Incredibles still kind of has that flat early Pixar look, even though Finding Nemo, which is the year before, holds up really well. I don't know.
Right.
I'm gonna make Incredibles number four. Number three.
I
I'm gonna go
disagree with that.
Monsters.
I think
Hmm?
Monster Inc. is like the first one that's like visually interesting. With like all the doors and
Yeah, but
like
that's 2001.
Yeah,
yeah,
that
So
was even before all those.
yeah. I'm
yeah,
saying that's the first one that feels visually, and then it just kept continuing from there.
yeah.
I don't think Incredible feel flat at all, in my
I feel
opinion.
like they really kicked it up around Up, like Wally to Up, somewhere in there, like
Yeah,
Ratatouille to Wally
Or
to
late
Up.
2000s, that sort of
Yeah.
thing. Yeah, I don't know. Incredibles, when you watch it now, like on Blu-ray or something like that, it doesn't quite have the same visual quality that some of the
Hmm.
other ones
okay, fair
have.
enough.
I still think it's really good. Obviously, it's in my top five. So,
Yeah.
um, yeah, I think Monsters Inc. is going to be number three
Mm.
because I think that was the first one that like I cried at.
Mm.
Hmm.
Because as much as I love the first two Toy Story movies, they don't make me cry the way the third one does.
Hmm.
Um, but Monsters Inc. got me. Like I was a freshman in college when that came out, and I went to go
Hmm.
see it. Like I said, I never grew out of kids' movies. I've always loved them. Um, and man, that final shot where he pokes his head through the door, and you just hear Boo laughing, and you just
Yeah,
see
what a
Sully
way to
smile.
yeah, what a way to
It
end
is.
that movie.
It is just so deeply affecting.
Mm.
And I don't even have kids, and I still feel
Hmm.
that way.
Mm.
Okay. Number two, you can probably tell that I'm doing what Eric is probably gonna do and just bundling the Toy Story movies
Mm.
together. So number two, hmm, I think I gotta go Finding Nemo on that one.
Mm.
Okay.
Finding Nemo, like I think when it came out, it was such a phenomenon, and I was like, that was okay. Watching it again, like as an adult,
Hmm.
uh, it really, really gets to you. Like that movie's got some really deep, deep stuff on its mind in regards to just like relationships and willing to let people be their own
Mm.
person rather than
Hmm.
what you want them to be. And again, I'm not a parent, so I can't speak to it from that perspective. But as somebody who has parents, uh, you know, that was my whole thing when I was a kid. I was just like, you just gotta let me be me. And
Hmm.
fortunately, they did. Um, and then number one, I'm just gonna bundle Toy Stories 1 through 3 all together
Okay.
because I feel like that's a sort of a complete saga. It's
Hmm.
like the Lord of the Rings movies. You
Yeah.
can't have, and then Toy Story 4 is kind of its own thing.
Mm.
That's fine.
Yeah.
But those first three, they just really make this complete, wonderful, beautiful story.
Yeah,
So
for sure.
I'm just gonna cheat and make them all number one.
Yeah. What about you, Eric? What is your top five?
Not a lot of differences in there. Although I will say my number five is Soul, which is one of the
Mm.
newer ones.
Okay.
Good one.
I really liked Soul. I haven't rewatched it, so I don't know if it holds up well after a second watch. But I know that there's a sequence in the middle of the movie that is as effective as the opening of Up is
Mm.
for me. Like when he like starts playing the piano again.
Mm.
I don't know.
Mm.
I thought it was super effective, sort
Mm.
of like finding coming to terms with your place sort of
Yeah.
thing. I don't know. I loved Soul. Incredibles is number two. I think it's really well told
Mm.
story. And like really hit before like the superhero boom. So it felt fresh
Right.
than before like we just got hit with like an onslaught of like
Yeah.
superhero
Came out the
movies.
same year that Spider-Man 2 came out.
Yep.
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yeah. Oh four? Yeah, it was 04, wasn't it?
Yeah, it's 4.
Mhm. And then Monsters Inc. for all the reasons Jackson was talking about, and all the reasons Drew was talking about. Like, I love all the visuals of like the doors and everything. And I love
Mhm.
Steve Buscemi as that slimy, the slimy.
The
I can't remember his name, but I love him.
Randall.
Randall, yeah,
Randall,
yeah.
yeah.
So good. And then number two is one you didn't say, is Wally, and I think it's such a good
Mhm.
visually, like a
I
visual
wanted to include
storytelling.
Wally,
Yeah,
but the second half of that movie is a dip from the first half.
yeah. But the
Mhm.
first half is so good. I
First
love
half
the
is
first half of
so
that movie.
good.
And then the first one is the Toy Story trilogy
Okay.
because oof.
Yeah.
The first one's great. The second one is a little more of the same,
Mhm.
but and better in some ways. And then the third one is just, man, so good.
Okay,
It's the
cool.
Return of the King.
Yeah, awesome. I'm gonna do my honorable mentions first before I get my
Mhm.
top five. I'm gonna go Toy Story 1 and 2. Didn't quite make the cut, but I love those movies so much.
Mm,
Monsters Inc., Wall-E,
mm.
Inside Out, Finding Dory, The Incredibles 2, Soul, and Elemental. Shut up, Jackson. I know you hate that movie.
Why are you including like half of their movies in your honorable mention?
I felt
No,
I
no,
was gonna
no,
say
I
this,
like
but
I like
like,
other movies in the franchise more.
Okay.
mm. I never
I'll,
saw
I'll,
Elemental.
so I'll
I
get
heard
to
not great
why
things about it.
I'll get to why I like Toy Story 3 more than all the other ones here in a
Oh,
second.
it's my favorite too. Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah,
for sure.
yeah.
same.
I would go 3, 1, 2,
Okay,
Hmm.
and then 4 when it
okay,
comes to just ranking Toy Stories. Yeah.
yeah. Okay, so my top five is gonna be number five, Coco. This is such a
Mm.
Okay.
beautiful
Yeah.
movie that celebrates honestly a different culture than
Hmm.
what we've seen in Pixar movies.
Mhm.
I know Disney kind of does that a little bit, but not to like this extent. This movie's all about Dias de los Muertos, the Day of the Dead, how you ever say it in Spanish.
Dia
Um,
de los Muertos.
yeah, yeah. And I think it's a beautiful movie about that and
Yeah.
about remembering loved ones and just honestly
Mm.
just sticking to your passion despite
Mm.
whatever anybody else says about it. Number four, Finding Nemo. A
Mm.
beautiful story about a father being too overprotective over his son and realizing that no, like the world is always going to be a dangerous place. You're not always going to be there to
Yeah.
protect them.
Hmm.
I just really relate to that a lot. Number three, Ratatouille. A movie that I did not really like the first couple times or few times I watched it, but the more I watched it, it really sticks with me. I really like this movie. It's a
Mm.
almost it's. I mean, I know The Incredibles was like the first sort of more adult oriented Pixar movie that adults can
Hmm.
can really love just as much as kids. I mean, I guess
Hmm.
Pixar movies before that were like that, but that one really
Yeah.
solidified. No, no, it's not just for kids. It can be adult and it can deal with some pretty dark stuff.
Hmm.
But that had the appeal of superhero that a kid could relate to. Ratatouille just had a cute
Ratatouille
rat.
is just a full-on grown-up movie.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's what I like about it, and that's what I like about it. Like yeah, I like how it's so different, and
Yeah.
it's not just a different movie for Pixar. It's really a different movie for Brad Bird. Um,
Mhm.
Yeah, it's not like his other movies for
I'm
sure.
glad you.
yeah,
I'm glad you included Ratatouille. I almost did. I'm glad you put it.
yeah, because I feel like Brad Bird movies you get like the Mission Impossible and Tomorrowland and The Incredibles and Iron Giant. They're all kind of sci-fi-ish,
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of kind of nerdy movies. This is like a straight up like almost a French film.
Oh.
Like it could have been easily a French film.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, I
Yeah.
could see it done in the same style as like the triplets of Belleville or something
Mm,
like that.
yeah.
Hmm.
Which
Number
true, I'm pretty sure you've probably never seen the triplets of Belleville, but you absolutely should. It's awesome.
what's it
It's really
about?
good.
It's a French animated movie about it's hard to explain. It's about this kid who like becomes a really great cyclist and then gets kidnapped by gangsters and his grandmother has to come and save him.
Dude,
It's
okay,
really
so text me that movie.
It's
I'll
good.
check that out.
okay. It's basically a silent film too.
Oh,
Hmm.
nice.
It's
Yeah.
it's all done through visuals. It's really cool.
Yeah, I still need to watch Flow. I haven't watched Flow yet.
Flow's
Was really
good.
good.
Yeah.
Was really
Yeah.
good.
Um, Number two, The Incredibles. Another one, I did enjoy it first watching it, but not a one I really appreciated till much later.
Mm.
Because because at that point I kind of understood like superhero motif and how Brad Bird was kind of playing off of that, and
Mhm.
I kind of got all like the relationship issues with the movie between like the family and Mr. Incredible and Elastigirl and all that um kind of stuff.
It's
It
still the best Fantastic Four movie for sure.
hopefully this
Not
We'll
new
wrong.
one
see.
can,
We'll see what Disney comes up with this year.
yeah.
But until that time, The Incredibles is still the best Fantastic Four movie.
Yeah, I hope honestly they use the template of both Incredibles movies for that one,
Yeah,
like
we'll
as
see.
inspiration.
I don't know. We'll see.
And number one is Toy Story 3,
Mm.
based off the sole purpose of I grew up with these characters, and this movie came
Mm.
out um the summer before I was gonna enter my freshman year of high school, and it was a big
Mm.
step for me. Like Andy going to college, and he had to move on from from his childhood and be a grown up a little bit, but
Yeah.
Mhm.
still had that childlike you know incitement in him a little bit.
Mhm.
And never grew up fully. And I don't know, just this movie just really touched me. And I can't, man, for an animated movie about toys that come to life, the fact that that ending gives me goosebumps every single time, and it is so perfectly crafted. Just the pacing, just the way that he picks out every single toy out of the box and makes it exciting for this little girl, and then it
Yeah.
gets to Woody, and it's like the most emotional thing you've ever seen in your
Yeah.
life.
It's like, do I give her Woody?
Yeah.
It's so yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
When he says, Woody will be with you to the end, or he'll always be with you. Like that's how Woody is for me. That's how Buzz and Woody is for me. Like these
Yeah.
characters been with me for almost my entire life, minus one
Mm.
year.
Have
um,
you ever given away toys to a younger kid? Have any either of y'all?
no, but I definitely like donated toys before
Mm.
with the
Mm.
thought of a kid um might enjoy this.
I've never done it, sadly. I Most of my like toys that I kept
Mm,
into later years, I wound up like taking them and selling them at a
mm.
store, for
Hmm.
credit or whatever. But
Yeah. But
yeah,
I mean, I still like collect toys and figures and all that stuff. But
yeah.
it's mostly just there, like for
There to look
collectible
at.
purposes.
It's
Yeah.
decoration at that point, yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
I have like Universal Monsters. I have Marty McFly, Terminator, Freddy Krueger.
Right. But you
Typically
don't
just
really
stuff
take
I
them down and
like.
probably
Like
play with them like you used to, though.
Oh no, I take them
sometimes I
out to
just really
display them. I
miss
just don't play
playing
with
with
them.
toys.
Hmm?
I
What
just
up?
really miss playing with toys sometimes.
Yeah.
Like,
Same.
sometimes my nephew, I'll build Legos with him or
Mm,
something like that. And it's fun. Like, I don't know, all my old Lego, that's the only toy that's like still around from my
mm,
Hmm.
childhood at my parents' house now is my old Lego
They
sets.
never go old.
right.
And they're just in a bin, and we don't have the instructions, I don't
Mm,
think, anymore. And probably a lot of the pieces are missing, so you just kind of have to
Mm.
make whatever.
yeah.
And but it's really fun. I love watching Lego Masters because
Mm,
I like watching people do something better than I ever could.
right. Yeah, this is a fun show. And you got Royal Net at the host, which is awesome.
Yeah. I just love Amy, the
Mm.
tall Scottish lady that is one
Mm.
of the judges.
Oh, I don't
Big
remember
crush on Amy.
her. I'm more of an Irish guy. I think the Irish accent is like the most attractive accent to me, like both
Mm.
male and female. Like I love that.
Fair enough,
Yeah, well, just
Every-
listening to Colin Farrell do interviews for the Penguin series, like I'm like, oh my god, dude, you have like the sexiest voice ever. He's like, I'm Colin Farrell. I'm in this movie Penguin.
It is Colin Farrell. I mean,
Yeah,
it's not bad to look at anyway.
yeah.
That's true. Except
Uh,
in when he's playing the penguin.
Right.
yeah,
Not very attractive as the penguin.
yeah. I heard he's kind of an asshole, or he used to be.
I think he used to be, and I think
Yeah.
that was just like angry young man syndrome. I think he's probably a pretty decent guy now,
Yeah.
based on what I read at least. So
Mm. But Anyways, guys, if you like this episode and you want to see more spooky and weird content, make sure you slash that subscribe button. And follow us on Facebook and Spotify at Horror Sci-Fi and Beyond. And also don't forget to leave this episode a killer comment and give it a King Kong size thumbs up. And remember, guys, stay weird. And to infinity and beyond!